10,000 years of culture.
いらっしゃいませ。大阪にようこそ。
718 AD, the Japanese offer sushi for the first time. 1800 AD, the Japanese create modern sushi. 1967, Las Vegas, Nevada. Sushi is perfected.
Hi, I'm Gene Nakanishi, owner of Osaka Japanese Bistro. For the best authentic Japanese cuisine, any dish you find in Japan, you can find it at Osaka. We're located at 4205 West Sahara Avenue. Or visit our Henderson location, just past Horizon Ridge.
Find the cure for Geritol Radio right here in Las Vegas.
The Sex and Money Show takes on cutting-edge topics as the most interesting guests and pursues timely topics.
The Sex and Money Show, perfect for Las Vegas and the world.
Join Len Connell for The Sex and Money Show.
Every weekday at high noon.
The Sex and Money Show.
I was up sometimes, see me.
It's 12 o'clock, Las Vegas. Time for Sex and Money with Len Connell, Legal Eagle Miller, and Dr. Maurice Gregory, Dr. G.
Good afternoon, Las Vegas. Big Magic Al Jensen coming to you live from the Sex and Money Show studios at beautiful KLAV AM 1230, the talk of Las Vegas. Sitting in for Len Connell today. Along with me, Legal Eagle Miller. Miller, good to see you today.
Hey, what's going on? I mean, it is cold and wet and windy.
Wait a minute. Cold, wet, and windy?
Yes.
That's
I'm not talking about my ex-wife.
That's just like somebody from the right who just always exaggerates everything. Cold, wet, and windy.
It's cold, wet, and windy out there.
It's 60 degrees.
That's cold.
All right, 60 degrees is cold.
I had to wear a vest and an overcoat today.
It's 60 degrees out there. We have officially received 0.0005 inches. That's like 5/10,000ths of an inch of rain.
Just enough to mess up a good car wash.
Just enough to mess up your hair.
Yes.
And
thanks for pointing that out.
And we have a breeze out of the southwest at 9. I thought, weren't you over?
I'm only 140 pounds, all right? 9-mile-an-hour winds could topple me over.
Oh, my goodness. Weren't you over in Kuwait or Iraq or something like that? I mean, you served our country overseas, right?
Yes, I was in Iraq.
You were in Iraq,
too, yes.
All right. And it got a little extreme over there, didn't it? Like 180 degrees?
I remember recorded temperatures of 140.
Okay, 140.
Yes.
And you're complaining about 60 degrees.
Which is if I've been in recorded temperatures of 140 degrees, 60 is freezing.
Well, it's not like you just stepped out of 140 degrees.
You're right.
60 degrees. You know what? I dare you to call somebody from the Midwest right now and say it's freezing here in Vegas and see what kind of grief you get.
Well, you know what? I just stepped out of corporate office.
It's like 3 degrees in Des Moines.
True. Well, I am a desert. We don't get that cold.
That's
all the
why
time.
you
We
live
do get
here.
cold, but it's wet. Okay, can you at least give me wet?
It's damp. I'll give you damp.
All right, you're gonna
I'll give you a damp. All right.
It's damp enough so that we're experiencing a higher volume of automobile accidents because people do not know how to drive in wet weather in Las Vegas.
Well, let's give them a little bit of credit though, because
Glenn Lerner's having a ball.
Okay,
right
we've
now.
gone like 100 days with no precipitation. And then you get a little precipitation on top of that, and the water just beads up on top of the oil that's on the street, and it is very, very slick.
Get that hydroplane going.
Yes, it is
Get
very
that
slick.
hydroplane.
So it's almost, in some cases, it can be like black ice. Like
Yes.
you just can't see that it's slippery.
And I'm just hoping no one rear ends me or.
Well, I hope the same thing.
Everyone just keep your distance. Don't put on any makeup.
But if you're going to do it,
talk and text.
But if you're going to do it, you got to do it today because next week Metro starts the policy of not coming out to accidents anymore.
Yes, they're not going to be coming out to accidents like they really rushed to them before. But I mean, is it now? I don't know. Is it going to be just they're not flat out coming out to personal injury accidents, or is it going to be one of those situations where
if it's a non-injury,
they've had a policy of that being low priority for years, and now they're making it official where they're just flat out saying, if there's no injury involved, we're not coming out.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So you guys just get out, exchange insurance information, take care of it on yourself. But, I don't like that idea because, somebody rear ends me, right? And
that's not my fault.
And they don't come out. Then we're going to have a hard time figuring out whose fault it was.
Not really. I mean, it doesn't. Trust me, the cop is not experienced in determining whose fault it is. All he does is he issues a citation based on what he believes you might have done wrong. Oh, you ran the red light. He'll give you a citation for running the red light. You failed to yield. He'll give you a failed to yield. He does not list on that report. He does not insert his opinion on whose fault it is.
But if he issues a traffic ticket, that's pretty much assignment of fault right there.
Well, I wouldn't call it assignment of fault. I just say that, maybe the violation of, say, running that light or that stop sign contributed to the negligence of the accident. And so, hey, maybe the other person was speeding. Maybe they ran through a yellow just when the light turned, and then you were going, because I've had those situations where I'm going along at a good 45-mile-an-hour clip, right? And I'm approaching, let's say, Rainbow and Sahara, and the light is red, but I'm like going, I don't want to slow down. And I get lucky, right? And as soon as I get up to the intersection, the light turns green, and I don't slow down. So then, now you got somebody that just went through the yellow. You don't think we're going to hit? We're going to collide.
Sure.
So now in a situation like that, now it's one of those, well, wait a minute. Who's at fault?
Exactly. But next Monday, March 3rd,
they're not going to come out anymore.
Patrol officers will stop responding to property-only accidents within Metro's jurisdiction.
Unless a black person's involved, then they're going to show up.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, right. Because they're going to claim you don't have insurance.
Okay, so we got a situation. So we've had an accident. We've collided. Our vehicles have collided.
Right.
We get out, and I don't want to show you my insurance information. I don't want to show you my driver's license.
That's going to be a problem.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a problem. But a lot of people are going to do that. A lot of people because even now you don't want to hand that person your personal information.
Right.
That's why you go stand on this corner, and then he goes stand on that corner, and then the motorcycle cop walks over to you and says, "Okay, give me your information." And by the way, if you don't, that in of itself warrants a violation.
Well, if you don't give it to the officer,
if you don't give the officer the information he's required to identify yourself, that's a violation of that peace officer. You're violating administrative laws actually. Because when you get your driver's license, if you read the fine print, it's a privilege.
Oh, but who reads the fine print?
And you have to furnish that information if a peace officer asks it of you.
Sure.
That's not so much the case if an individual does.
Right.
And so what you end up with here is everybody's just going to end up taking pictures of the cars and the license plates.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be harder. You're going to have to turn it into your insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
Then your insurance company is going to have to do the due diligence and the investigation into getting all the information from the other party.
Wow. It sounds like a mess.
But I'll be honest with you. If you don't have insurance in the first place, whether you handed them whether you didn't hand them insurance information, or your insurance company has to investigate whether or not you have insurance through looking at your driver's or your license plate number or whatnot, doesn't really matter because you're just screwed.
Okay, but what about the driver's license? So if the guy don't want to show me his driver's license?
Yeah, well, if he doesn't, like I said, that's why I say you're going to take a picture. I hope you were smart enough to take a picture of his license plate, unless you got hit by a person that doesn't have a license plate yet.
Well, that's possible.
There's going to be some serious repercussions.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be a lot of complaints going on because peace officers aren't showing up to take people's identification or anything.
Yeah, I am not looking forward to that.
Nope. It's going to
Not
run
looking
amok.
forward to that.
Talk
But
about
you know
hit
what?
and runs. Woo.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? There's a Lexington, Mississippi guy who was not looking forward to his funeral. Did you hear that story?
I did not.
Workers at a Mississippi funeral home say they found a man alive and kicking when they opened a body bag.
Oh, man.
Opened a body bag. 78-year-old Walter Williams is alive.
Who pronounced him dead?
I'm not sure. Well, Howard says, let's see, Howard. Who's Howard? Holmes County
Somebody's
Coroner,
getting suspended.
Dexter Howard. Okay, Holmes County Coroner Dexter Howard from Lexington, Mississippi, was called to Williams' home in Lexington, a community just north of Jackson, where family members believed he had died. Now, Howard, who was the coroner, says that Williams had no pulse, and he pronounced him dead Wednesday at 9 p.m. So early Thursday, apparently, my computer just says, I don't want to talk to you anymore. No, on Thursday, workers at the funeral home were preparing to embalm him when he started to kick in the body bag.
Oh, man.
Family members were called, and he was taken to a hospital. Says they believe that his pacemaker stopped working and then started again.
Oh no!
So he's apparently told everyone.
You got to get that warranty, man.
Yeah,
you just need to get that warranty.
That's right. So this coroner, Dexter Howard, I don't know about him. You going to pronounce this guy dead?
Well, technically,
Put him in a
you
body
know
bag?
what? If his heart stopped and he had no pulse,
He's dead.
he was dead.
But how does he come back? 18 hours later. How does he come back around?
Maybe he was like hibernating or something.
I don't know.
I'll tell you something though. Things like this do happen. That actually happened to my own mother.
So what's going to happen if officers don't respond to something like that? There's going to be fisticuffs.
What an accident that is. No, on a similar note, that actually occurred. My mother had an accident years ago, and she's had a couple of heart surgeries, and they actually pronounced her dead at the scene. And it just turned out that her blood pressure, and she'd been on blood thinners and everything because she had so many. It turns out that they just weren't getting the pulse, and she had a ruptured aorta. And that significantly reduced, obviously, any pulse.
Well, yeah.
Well, 30 minutes later, they heard her gurgling and something of that nature. And I mean, it was amazing. I was in L.A. at the time, and they said, your mother is a medical miracle. Someone ruptures their aorta, and they usually only last no more than 10, 15 minutes.
You're going to bleed out? Yeah, 10, 15 minutes.
Well, she had internal bleeding. They helped her. They got her into emergency surgery and everything like that. But they had pronounced her dead. I've got photographs of her car with DOA all over the windshield from the accident, and there's a tree that still has a big chunk out of it near our home.
Oh, my goodness.
From the accident 10 years ago or however long ago.
Wow.
So these things happen, but...
now, what about White Plains, New York? Anything legal? Now, usually all the crazy legal stuff happens down in Florida.
Yeah, far we haven't gotten any updates on the officer, the former police officer that shot the gentleman in the movie theater.
Hey, I haven't looked there yet, but what about White Plains, New York? Carrie Kennedy, what do you know about this?
Oh, well, looks like she was acquitted, wasn't she?
She was acquitted, yes.
She was acquitted. I don't know if it's because she's a Kennedy. Or
did you say that out loud?
The Kennedys have this thing. I mean, we were supposed to have gotten away from the monarchy. However, I think they're the closest thing we have to royalty in this country because they just, they've got so much tragedy in their family. Either, people dying, getting killed, skiing, hitting trees, who knows, planes dropping out of the sky. But how is it that they're acquitted on they're acquitted on everything? Don't we have the Kennedy nephew who's possibly getting out of prison too he had been charged.
I don't know. I'm not up to speed on that one.
I mean, well, yeah. So it took the jury less than an hour to find her. To
acquit her,
not criminally liable for sideswiping a tractor trailer while driving on a suburban New York highway after mistakenly taking a sleeping pill.
Ambien.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I don't have any of the relevant evidence that was in front of me, and I didn't get to review it. I don't know how you accidentally take a sleeping pill. It's like, was it in with your, vitamins or something?
Well, strangely enough, now that last story you said that had actually happened to your mother.
Right.
The whole Ambien thing actually happened to me.
Really?
Exactly. And I had a mistake for the exact same medication that she did. Now, she mixed up Ambien for Synthroid or a thyroid medication. And a while back, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, I was driving a shuttle bus for a company here in Las Vegas.
Oh, no.
I was doing the early morning 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. shift. I got up in the morning, went to take my morning medications, but I mistook my Ambien for my Synthroid, my thyroid medication.
The bottle or the pill itself?
I just got up and I opened it. The bottles look similar and the size of the tablets are similar.
Oh, no.
So I took a sleeping pill at 5:30 in the morning before I went into my shift.
Oh, no.
And as I was driving, I was really, something wasn't right. It was obvious that something wasn't going right. And I finally got to the work and I was kind of dizzy and lightheaded and what have you, and I finally realized, you know what, I bet I took a sleeping pill. Went home and did a count, and sure enough, I took a sleeping pill instead of a Synthroid. And I should not have been driving.
That's good. When you weren't affected, you didn't have an accident or anything. I'm glad that you realized what was going on.
And I thought, I shouldn't be driving a shuttle bus taking people up and down the Las Vegas Strip
in
this condition.
Yes.
So I begged off and got out of there, and And fortunately, nobody was injured, but I know how that mistake can happen.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you came to the defense of the Kennedy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you under the monarchy? What's
no,
the deal?
no, I don't fall under that.
Usually I'm defending people. But
nope, I'll come to our defense. Hey, listen, we've got to go to our first break here. Stick with us. You're listening to the Legal Briefs edition of the Sex and Money Show on KLAV AM 1230, the Talk of Las Vegas. We'll be back right after these messages.
Howdy, I'm Dr. G. Ever hear anyone tell you to take care of yourself the safe and natural way with Dr. G's Healthy Pleasures product?
For the best in men's toys, women's toys, massage oils, and personal lubricants.
Healthy Pleasures puts a smile on our faces.
Let's put one on yours. Remember, good health is good sex. Join our circle of friends. Medicine Man at healthypleasures.com.
Hi, I'm Miller of M&A Legal Management. We are committed to providing high-quality services and customer satisfaction.
M&A Legal Management provides business concierge-level services, combining all the unique services of executive representative, personal assistant, personal agent, and more.
Business startup packages beginning at $49. We do patents, trademarks, divorces, and court filings too, and customized legal research starting at our $19.99 hourly rate.
We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. Call M&A Legal Management at 888-449-5841 or visit us online at www.localbusinessservices.us.
I'm a bad boy.
Good people get arrested.
That is true.
They took you to jail.
Now what do you do?
890-30 bail bonds will be there for you.
Call us at 702-648-2663. That's 648-BOND.
You've been a very bad girl.
Chronic pain sufferers, tired of being enslaved to opiates? Tired of being hooked on pills? Break free. Call Dr. G, 702-822-1356. My office is located at 2020 Gold Ring, Suite 503, Las Vegas, Nevada, between Valley Hospital and University Medical Center. Stop counting pills and start counting days of relief.
And now, your sexy traffic report on the Sex and Money Show.
All right, Las Vegas, it is a little bit wet out there, some moisture on the roadways, so things are a little bit slippery. We have an accident. The off-ramp, I-15 southbound at Tropicana and Flamingo Road at Swenson, there's an accident. Accident Desert Inn at Mojave and accident Bermuda just north of Warm Springs Road. We have long-term road construction on Decatur Boulevard, both northbound and southbound between US 95 and Lake Mead Boulevard. That is your Sex and Money Show traffic report brought to you by Osaka Japanese Bistro.
Hi, I'm Gene Nakanishi, owner of Osaka Japanese Bistro. For the best authentic Japanese cuisine, we are the first authentic Japanese bistro established in 1967.
Enjoy a fine evening of jazz at Osaka Japanese Bistro's Henderson location, featuring the Naked Fish Band, offering 3 fine dining experiences, choosing from the sushi bar, the teppanyaki grill, and traditional tatami rooms, all at the same location.
Any dish you find in Japan, you can find it at Osaka. We are located at 10920 Southeastern Avenue, just past Horizon Ridge. Or visit our original location on West Sahara next to the Statue of Liberty.
We're back on the Sex and Money Show, Legal Briefs edition, this final day of February 2014 with me, Big Magic Al Jensen, sitting in for Len Connell, along with Legal Eagle Miller. Miller, what do you got for us?
You know, I'm down the hall, and I always try and prep in pre-production for all of the things that we have to talk about on the show and get it ready. And sometimes there's a lot of last-minute changes. And
wow, you're making it sound really important.
I have to make it sound really important. But you know, the thing is, I'm now doing it in comfort. You know, because one of our sponsors, the Las Vegas Assembly team, who put together my executive suite, beautiful executive
Wow,
suite.
that sounds important.
Credenza and desk, and just looks great in there. I've got all this matching furniture. They did this for me in like an hour. I called them. I saw some pieces. They brought it down to the studio and set me up like you wouldn't believe.
Really?
And so I was on their website, the Las Vegas Assembly Team.com website, and actually you can give them a call over at 702-522-0087. They buy furniture, they sell furniture, but one of the things that I wanted to mention was I saw pieces over there that were like $3,000, $4,000 pieces that were like $800, $1,000. Pieces that, Office Max, Office Depot, I got to say, can't match. Real wood, they got oak pieces. They got some solid stuff, not just the pressboard stuff. And I just had to say, I'm gonna have to give Carlos a shout out over there, or Albert, should I say? I joke and call him Carlos. So he says, don't say it on the air. I gave everybody last week his cell phone number.
Yeah.
But speaking of furnishing new offices and getting in place in a great office, we have a guest with us today who should have a new office shortly. And we have with us today Nakia Woodson, and she is running for Assembly District 3, State Assembly. Hello, hi, thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon.
She got to stay here with us and hear our banter and all our commentary on topics.
I'm surprised she actually stayed in the room. I thought she was going to collect her things and head out the door.
So I got a bio here, and I read some things that I was amazed about, and found out some more information. Every time I see you, I see you on Facebook or something, I find something new about you that's very unique, and I'm very impressed with everything that you've done for the community, everything that you've done, and just you need to tell the listeners a little bit about yourself. You've got so much going on.
Well, basically, as I said last time I was here, I'm a realtor. I do also manage a bail company, and as you just stated, I'm running for State Assembly District 3. For those that aren't familiar with the borders, it goes from Charleston to Alexander, Rancho to Rainbow, and it predominantly covers zip codes 89107 and 108. I was a teen mom, a teen wife. I was still able to graduate high school at 16. I obtained 2 bachelor's degrees from USC, and then I earned my law degree.
Oh, man, wait a minute, USC? Oh,
Miller, you're suffering a stroke
we
there,
need
or
somebody
what?
to hit the dump button on that one. No, fantastic school, although, rivals to UCLA across the way.
Right.
I couldn't go anywhere near USC. I didn't want to get. I'm going to get all the calls on this one. I wanted to keep the nice wheels on my car, but USC is a good school. See, and I give you props for the Trojans over there.
It's a great school.
Yes, but the Bruins. I got to shout out to the Bruins. Even though I never went to one basketball game, but that's okay. So, what are some of the things that you're hearing about in your district that people have serious concerns with? I know in December you spoke against the more cops tax.
Correct. Well, of course, Nevada, most residents here are dealing with financial issues. So some of the concerns are foreclosures, which I plan to focus on housing. That's one of my issues. Another issue is taxes. I mean, families are already hurting financially, so we don't want to give them additional taxes or anything additional that's going to financially burden them.
And I don't think we've seen an increase in crime or criminal activity, per capita in relation to other cities that would warrant. We always hear more cops, more cops, more
Right.
cops. Didn't North Las Vegas just recently, a year ago or 2 years ago it was, they pretty much shut down their jailhouse?
Correct.
And they've got,
So basically they're sharing a jail with City of Las Vegas. So basically if you're arrested in North Las Vegas, you're transported to the City of Las Vegas jail, which is on Stewart and Mojave.
So, so I don't get I don't understand why they would even argue for that. I think, here's the thing that I think to be true, and correct me if I'm wrong. When we want to raise taxes, a lot of the times the politicians want to raise taxes, the first thing they do is they use things like crime and education as an excuse to raise taxes, because they know, well, how could you say no to the children who we need to? Of course. How could you say no to keeping our community safe? So if you say no, you look like a bad person.
Right.
And then they put that money that comes into this general fund.
Right.
And it doesn't even get necessarily earmarked for what they argued they were raising the taxes for.
Exactly. Well, my position was just that why don't they use the resources they have and use the resources more effectively instead of asking the community for more money?
I always say, my perfect example is even with our federal government. You know, we get a president in, regardless of what party, and they say, well, I'm going to create this administrative body to deal with this issue. And they hire 200,000 people in every state for the federal government for this issue, for this administrative body. Several years later, find out it doesn't work. And then they say, well, I'm going to create this other administrative body. And then they hire 200,000 more people. But what they don't do is they don't get rid of the other administrative body.
Exactly.
Why not retrain those people to do the new job and keep them? So that's something I think I'm hearing you say. Use what you've got.
Exactly. And I did also say better training and, of course, racial diversity training. That's what I suggested.
That is something that a lot of people don't realize. I think I've tinted my windows. I've got some darkly tinted windows in my vehicle, but the car that I drive on a regular basis actually precedes the law that says it can't be. So I don't, so I challenge. I better not say this. Watch, I could pull out of the studio lot and get pulled over. But I challenge someone to pull me over. The thing is, I don't think they think that I'm black when I'm driving my car because it's not necessarily. It's like an old white guy's car I'm driving.
Okay.
Not the discount Lynn, our executive producer, but. So are you doing any canvassing? Do you have any events coming up, any fundraisers or anything like that? And where could the listeners go to read more about your campaign?
Well, currently I'm in the process of constructing my website. However, once it's completed, it will be votefornakia.com. I do also have a Facebook page where they can access information. And, of course, my business card is on the page. They can always call me. I typically try to have events every couple weeks. The Democratic Party just had a Democratic caucus last Saturday. I did call some of the constituents to invite them. And then next Saturday at roughly 10 or 11 in the morning, but I will post it on Facebook, I'm going to canvass District 3. So we have about 10 volunteers that are going to show up, and we're just going to go through the neighborhood, talk to the constituents, and give them my business card
and get some information, find out what talking points they want to have addressed at these events. Also, for those of you who didn't catch it, you can link with Ms. Woodson on the Sex and Money Show Facebook page, as well as the Judge M. Joseph Miller Facebook page. On my personal page, we've got links up there that'll take you directly to her, and you can read about her position on these issues. So. When are the elections? When is the
election is May 24th. That's early voting, so I'm asking everyone to please go out May 24th and vote. Of course, you do have until June 10th. However, I never recommend waiting till the last day because anything could pop up, anything could happen. So
and that goes out to our military personnel as well that are overseas. That and me having been in that position where I've had to vote while I was overseas. It's and. Nowadays, oftentimes, they don't want to they don't want to count those overseas votes. They came in later.
They do. There's absentee ballots. So for those who will not be available, of course, you can send in your absentee ballot, and you just call the election department for that. And their telephone number is 455-VOTE, 455-VOTE.
Get your ballots in early so that you don't have to be in the fray of all of those people.
And if you're in Chicago, get them in early and get them in often.
Get them early and get them often, exactly. So one other thing and one other point that I'd like to make is that your real estate company is
Strategic Realty.
Strategic Realty. So with that, we're going to go to break in a little bit, and then we'll come back later on with a little bit more information on how you can get involved, work with Nakia Woodson, get her elected, and also maybe possibly buy a house or something like that. I don't know. Let's get that squared away, right?
Exactly.
Let's get that squared away.
All right, let's go to our halfway break. You're listening to Nakia Woodson, Legal Briefs expert Miller, and me, Big Magic Al Jensen, on the Legal Briefs edition of the Sex and Money Show on KLAV AM 1230, the Talk of Las Vegas. We'll be back right after this brief commercial message.
Do you suffer from androgen deficiency? Some symptoms of androgen deficiency include reduced body and facial hair, loss of muscle mass, infertility, increased breast size, feeling irritable or depressed, poor concentration. Get tested for androgen deficiency. Call Dr. G, Dr. Maurice Gregory, at 702-822-1356 for a consultation. That's Dr. G at 822-1356, 822-1356.
At Your Service Cleaning Services is a family-owned business.
Providing you the best in punctual, thorough, and respectful residential and commercial cleaning services.
Our staff is uniformed, licensed, and bonded. We are able to provide rust services, and we supply all cleaning materials and equipment.
Call 888-449-5841. That's 888-449-5841.
The Cool Trade, the next generation of automated stock trading. Cool Trade is a 100% point-and-click robotic trading system. Cool Trade levels the playing field and allows you to trade at home the same way as the traders at major financial institutions. Don't worry, our software is easy to learn and easy to use. No one can predict what stocks will do, but we do know that they'll go up and down. Cool Trade is designed to trade the market for you and has the ability to make profits either way. Whether you're new to online investing, an experienced investor, or an active trader, Cool Trade is all you need to succeed. It's time to regain confidence in the market and join the robotic trading revolution. Take action today.
Call M&A Legal Management at 888-449-5841 or visit us online at www.anybodytrade.com.
Cool Trader Pro and Cool Trade do not make, buy, sell, or hold recommendations. Unique experiences and past performances do not guarantee future results. Cool Trader Pro and Cool Trade are software-related companies and are not licensed broker-dealers. Investing in the stock market can be considered high risk, and participants should consult with their financial advisors regarding risk and suitability.
Hey, what you doing?
I'm logging on to the Vegas AllNet Radio website to hear last week's episode of the Sex and Money Show.
Ooh, hear past episodes of the Sex and Money Show Mondays from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. to 11.
Wasn't last week's episode good?
It was so good.
The Sex and Money Show rebroadcast, streaming on VegasAllNetRadio.com.
I'm a bad boy.
Good people get arrested.
That is true.
They took you to jail.
Now what do you do?
890-30 bail bonds will be there for you.
Call us at 702-648-2663. That's 648-BOND.
You've been a very bad girl.
Julia Sarah Boutique for the best in upscale fashions at affordable prices. Choose from a wide selection of dresses, gowns, jackets, boots, shoes, and more. Ladies and gentlemen's fashions available. Whatever your personal style, Julia Sarah Boutique has everything you need to look your best. Call 888-449-5841 or like us on Facebook for special promotions and invitations.
What's the weather for the weekend gonna be? Will it be hot, cold, rain, snow?
And now, your sexy weather report on the Sex and Money Show.
All right, Las Vegas, we have a high of 60 degrees with cloudy skies and showers today. Winds southwest at 9, overnight low 47. Tomorrow, more showers, high of 60. Overnight low of 44 with light winds out of the south at 10 miles an hour. Sunday, we see a little bit of sun return, high of 62, low of 47. Monday and Tuesday, still partly cloudy in the mid-60s and overnight lows in the mid-40s. That is your Sex and Money Show weather report, brought to you by Osaka Japanese Bistros.
Hi, I'm Gene Nakanishi, owner of Osaka Japanese Bistro. For the best authentic Japanese cuisine, we are the first authentic Japanese bistro established in 1967.
Enjoy a fine evening of jazz at Osaka Japanese Bistro's Henderson location, featuring the Naked Fish Band, offering 3 fine dining experiences, choosing from the sushi bar, the teppanyaki grill, and traditional tatami rooms, all at the same location.
Any dish you find in Japan, you can find it at Osaka. We are located at 10920 Southeastern Avenue, just past Horizon Ridge. Or visit our original location on West Sahara next to the Statue of Liberty.
All right, we are back on the Legal Briefs edition of the Sex and Money Show. Me, Big Magic Al Jensen, sitting in for Len Connell, along with Legal Eagle Miller. Hey, Miller, have I told you lately it's great to be in the studio with you?
Oh, not as late.
Well, I love being in the studio with you. It's always fun being here on a Friday. We get to talk about legal issues and who's been convicted and who's been acquitted and who's made some boneheaded moves.
Who really needs to call 890-30 bail bonds?
Exactly, exactly. 890-30 bail bonds will be there for you.
Yes, I've been a bad boy.
I've been a bad boy. I was actually in the studio when they recorded that 890-30 bail bonds will be there for you.
I love it.
That was fun.
Now, normally since this is the legal brief, we always have the legal topics on and things of that nature, but I just had to touch on something that goes hand in hand with that, and that's obviously healthcare, and that's things of that nature. I take care of. I've got an aging mother, and I take care of my mother, of course.
Yes.
And I get her prescriptions.
You're a good
I make sure
son.
She gets to a doctor's appointment. Sometimes I want my brother to help me out a little more. I hope you're listening. Anyway, and nevertheless, but bills have been going up. Numbers have been changing with the medicine and the benefits and things like that. But I was talking to a very informative person who was giving me some insight. We can't always rely on the government. We just shouldn't rely on the government.
I will agree with that statement. We shouldn't rely on the government.
Exactly. Okay, so we shouldn't rely on the government. And I think people feel that this whole Affordable Care Act,
Thank you for calling it
such.
That's good.
Affordable Care Act. I'm not going to call it the other person, but nevertheless, it's not always affordable. It's not. And so I was talking to president of WTC Insurance Services, who just so happened to have some amazing ideas and some amazing revelations that people don't know about, that he's going to give our listeners some insight about. Bill Klingon over he's president. I only get the presidents on. See?
Well, of course.
We got President Bill Klingon.
We're not going to talk to vice presidents or regional managers. We're going to
We're going to go straight
to
the top. We get it from the horse's mouth. I go to the President Bill Klingon. Now everybody out there thinks I got Clinton on the phone, right? So,
no, Bill Klingon from WTC Insurance Services.
Yes, and he's gonna let us know something. He will go over your policies. He'll go over everything for you without charging you to make sure something hasn't changed or slipped up, because laws change, policies change.
Oh, yeah.
All these different things change, and we think that once we have our policy set, we you buy an insurance policy 20
buy
years
it once
ago
and forget about it,
and then when you need it, something's changed. All those notices that insurance companies send out, and they say,
yeah.
oh, well, this changed, and you don't read
fine
it.
Print.
All
Who
that
reads
fine
that?
print every month you get, and you don't read it. This is a guy that does. It's his job. He's been doing this for, I think, 30. He's been doing this for 38 years.
So he understands the fine print.
He understands more than longer than I've been alive. Longer than
Wow.
I've been alive. Bill, this is Miller. Let's bring him on. Bill, are you there?
I'm here.
Hi,
Good
Bill
to hear your
Klingon.
voice.
Welcome to the
Thank
Legal
you.
Briefs edition of the Sex and Money Show.
Excellent. Well, I'm here, and I know I'm the president because they gave me a name plaque from my desk.
All right. So the buck stops with you, huh?
That's it.
I
That's
see you've got something where you're offering, you will review anyone's. Give me some detail, because I'm not in insurance. I don't know about the life benefits and the illness accelerated benefits and all of these. That's not my field. But I want you to tell us what you can provide and what you do that everybody needs to know about, and you're not even going to charge them.
Right. Yes, I'm going to do a service because I'm so concerned. And this all came about from the National Insurance Commissioners. They recently did a survey and found that 62% of those who own life insurance don't know what they have or why they bought it. That's insane. So I'm about out to change that. I want people to be educated and know what they have a family meeting with their attorney and their CPA and the family members, make sure their house is in order, because as Rod Stewart said, life is brief and time is a thief when you're undecided. So let's get decided, make sure everything's in order, then live a happy life and not have to worry about it.
Right. Now, you're going to be able, because I sat down with you in my office a couple of times, and you said, look, let's go over this thing. Like, let's go over your mom's life policy or whatnot and see what's there and what's not there. I know you had mentioned that things change and people don't know it changes. Give me an example. For example, let's say I bought this policy back, 10 years ago, and I just bought it, and I pay my premiums every month or whatnot, and it's just sitting there. and then all of a sudden I need to utilize something that I think I had in the policy. What could have changed? What's an example of what could have changed in the last 10 years since I previously got my policy that you would be able to point out and say, hey, wait, here's something better for you?
Well, for an example, here's an issue. A lot of people have bought universal life policies, and those are fine, and term insurance policies, not realizing that unless there is monies put in the policy of adequate amount, the policies can terminate. Term insurance has a date when it's done. 10-year term, at the end of 10 years, if you haven't converted, it's over. So if you're year number 9 and all of a sudden you have an issue, sometimes insurance companies will allow you to convert till age 70, but you have to do it within 6 months of the policy anniversary, or you're not able to convert it.
Wow.
So you got yourself a problem.
So in those cases, it's just like you threw money away and you can't have any additional benefit from it.
Yes, it depends on the carrier, it depends on circumstance, but those are the horror stories that I've run across. Other times you have a universal life policy, which may be fine, and it's not funded, and so let's say down the road you need to have some cash out of the policy for accelerated death benefit, in other words, getting money out that you can get tax-free, and the policy's or cash value, has gone down because it's been eroding the cash value to keep the policy alive. You may have a surprise and not have much cash left.
Wow. These are things that, Bill, you're the legal briefs go-to. I'm going to have I've got to do some homework, and I've got a lot of questions I'm going to have to ask you over the next couple of weeks. Our listeners are going to be able to call you. Al?
Yeah, Bill, I got a question for you. Before we brought you on the air, we had our last commercial break. Miller and I were here talking about our personal family circumstances, and Miller's he provides a lot of care for his mother, and I did the same thing for my parents when they were aging, and I know that care for aging parents is a very, very expensive proposition. Is there anything that people can do to perhaps insure themselves from potential financial ruin when it comes to all of those expenses that are going to be involved with providing long-term care for our aging parents?
It's absolutely imperative that everybody purchase long-term care insurance. I'm an absolute firm believer in that, and no talking head on television will ever argue with that. The cost of nursing care has continued to escalate at a frightening rate. For an example, the state of California said by year 2027, the average cost for long-term care will be $315,000 a year.
Wow.
Right.
So if you have $1 million you can leave your family, the average care span is about 4 years. It's gone.
It's gone, isn't it?
And
Yep.
with our aging parents living longer and longer, it's not like, the life expectancy was like 62 anymore. Now, you've got rocking, what is it, Bill? Rocking boomers?
Rocking Boomers Network.
You got rocking boomers rocking all the way in the 80s and 90s, okay?
Because I'm assuming, Bill, that when you sit down with families and go over their insurance package, life insurance certainly is a major component, but I have seen many, many families go from, a multi-million-dollar nest egg to basically living on nothing but government subsidy because they have really depleted that nest egg providing for long-term care in assisted living facilities or providing home care services, nursing facilities, things of that nature.
Absolutely, and a clever way of doing this, you can give up to $15,000. Now, that number changes every year. Per child, you can gift to get estate taxes reduced, etc. If you could do that, then have the children buy the premium for you, then the children will get the benefits of the total estate without paying all this money out ahead of time.
Sure. So see, Miller, there is a really good example of why you need to sit down and do this kind of evaluation with Bill, because there's a really plain and simple example of things that change. Your family circumstances change, and as Bill said, those numbers change every year.
Wow. Bill, you know what? I'm going to keep you on the speed dial because we're going to be talking a lot more in the upcoming weeks. And I want to get you in studio. We want to get our listeners up to date. Nothing better. We're still in the first quarter technically of the year. So we want to get everybody situated and set up over there. Bill, the listeners can contact you at 702-462-2581. Is that correct?
That is correct.
What about online? Do you have a web presence?
Yes, I certainly do. It's bill at MYMWI.com.
Okay, that's an email address. Very good. And the phone number once again, Bill?
702-462-2581.
Very good.
Great. We're going to get Bill in studio.
Yeah, would you come in here one day in studio, Bill, and talk in greater detail about all these things?
I'll be more than happy to do so. I just want to educate. It's a passion of mine, and I've had lots of stories to tell. In fact, I'm going to be writing a book on some of the events that have occurred, and I'm actually writing 2 books, one on strategic strategies for life insurance for business owners and one just for the typical family member, so they understand a little better comprehensive of how insurance works and why it's so incredibly valuable.
Bill Klingon, president over at WTC Insurance Services, thank you very much for coming on with us. Look forward to some seminars that we're going to be having with Bill.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll look forward to it. Thank you, Bill. You're listening to the Legal Briefs edition of the Sex and Money Show with me, Big Magic Al Jensen, and Legal Miller. We will be back with more right after these commercial messages.
I'm Manhattan Miller, and I'm What Happens in Vegas. From Paris to London, New York to Las Vegas, whether I'm out in the town or at home with your significant other, 2 things are for sure. I'm old school Vegas, and I always drink Frankovich Manhattans, handcrafted in micro batches by Frankovich Distillers, Reno, Nevada. Enjoy Frankovich Manhattan cocktails responsibly. Available now at select Costco, Total Wine, and Walmart stores.
When faced with a legal matter, contact Legal Solutions to You. We are a multi-state network of the top attorneys available, specializing in a wide range of services, including
personal injury, immigration, bankruptcy, criminal matters, business matters, and many more.
Quality legal representation is essential. Our goal is to provide the best legal representation available.
Stop being a victim.
Call us toll-free 855-775-2928. That's 855-77-LAW-TO-YOU. Or visit us online at LegalSolutions2You.com.
Julia Sarah Boutique for the best in upscale fashions at affordable prices. Choose from a wide selection of dresses, gowns, jackets, boots, shoes, and more. Ladies and gentlemen's fashions available. Whatever your personal style, Julia Sarah Boutique has everything you need to look your best. Call 888-449-5841 or like us on Facebook for special promotions and invitations.
I'm a bad boy.
Good people get arrested.
That is true.
They took you to jail.
Now what do you do?
890-30 bail bonds will be there for you.
Call us at 702-648-2663. That's 648-BOND.
You've been a very bad girl.
Hi, I'm Noah, host of the Legal Brief segment of the Sex and Money Show, where we will discuss the law of the land in a sexy, in-your-face manner.
Controversy with a Y, and he doesn't pull any punches.
From high noon to 1 p.m. on the Sex and Money Show.
And now, your sexy traffic report on the Sex and Money Show.
All right, Las Vegas, here is your traffic report. We have an accident on the I-15 southbound at Tropicana Avenue, causing quite a backup. We have an accident on Flamingo Road at Swenson. And as far as construction goes, Decatur Boulevard, both northbound and southbound between US 95 and Lake Mead Boulevard. And East Lake Mead Parkway, we have slow traffic out in Henderson between East Lake Mead Parkway and Warm Springs. That is your traffic report, brought to you by Osaka Japanese Bistro.
Hi, I'm Gene Nakanishi, owner of Osaka Japanese Bistro. For the best authentic Japanese cuisine, we are the first authentic Japanese bistro established in 1967.
Enjoy a fine evening of jazz at Osaka Japanese Bistro's Henderson location, featuring the Naked Fish Band, offering 3 fine dining experiences, choosing from the sushi bar, the teppanyaki grill, and traditional tatami rooms, all at the same location.
Any dish you find in Japan, you can find it at Osaka. We are located at 10920 Southeastern Avenue, just past Horizon Ridge. Or visit our original location on West Sahara next to the Statue of Liberty.
And we're back on the Sex and Money Show, Legal Briefs Edition, this final day of February 2014, with me, Big Magic Al Jensen, sitting in for Len Connell, along with legal briefs expert Miller.
Yes. I'm so happy to have had such an informative show today. You know, we had Bill Klingon, president over at WTC Insurance.
That guy knows his stuff.
Knows his stuff. They're going to give us some more information about accelerated death benefits and chronic illness accelerated benefits, all these things that we need to know about for the future for ourselves and our parents.
Right.
Also, we've got Las Vegas Assembly team who keep me sitting pretty in my office here at the studios with beautiful, just the executive suite they set up. I just can't say much about. I'm spending too much time in the office now. Really bad. Might not be good for the family though. But but Las Vegas Assembly team are over there at 702-522-0087, and of course they're on 3401 West Sirius Avenue in Las Vegas and 89102. You can get them at assemblyteam.com. And of course we have still in studio with us Nakia Woodson, the USC grad,
yes,
who is running for state assembly in the District 3 here in Las Vegas, and she's going to let us know what she's got coming up next, and then we'll be thanking you all for joining us today.
Well, basically, as I mentioned earlier, next Saturday, I will be having a canvass in the neighborhood of District 3.
When you say next Saturday, is that tomorrow or next?
Next.
The real
March 8th.
So March 8th.
Got it. March 8th.
I will post the details on my Facebook page, and as I mentioned before, it's going to cover District 3, which goes from Charleston to Alexander, Rancho to Rainbow, and it covers mostly zip codes 89107 and 108.
So if that is your district, come on out, support, ask all those questions, find out what you need to know about what's going on in your district with our next Assemblywoman, Nakia Woodson. Al?
Nakia, I have a question for you. Can we talk a little bit about finances and education? Because I know that is a big topic here in our state. I believe we rank around 44th or 45th in per capita spending or per student spending. And I mean, that's just tough. How in the world are we going to be able to expect to provide reasonable quality education for our children if we can't spend the appropriate money?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I support the Teachers Initiative, which will assist with some of those things. Some recent changes they have made, for example, in assisting students in graduating, they've decreased the passing score for the test. That's one of the things they've done. Secondly, they do allow students now to determine which school they want to go to. So rather than going to your school that you're zoned for, you have the option to pick another school, which gives students a lot of opportunities, because some of the students in the lower income neighborhoods, they don't have as many resources as students in other neighborhoods.
Exactly, and it's just a real tough situation out there. My wife is an elementary school teacher, is in her 16th year now, and we're coming up on tax time when it's time to do our income taxes, and it's always frustrating when we go in and every year she spends more and more and more out of her pocket to support her classroom. And that's, I mean, she's not making a lot of money in the first place, and spends more and more out of her pocket because she's dedicated. And there are a lot of wonderful dedicated teachers in the Clark County school system, and I'm sure statewide.
Right. Yes, there are. And we do need to support our teachers and support our students so that we can come up from the bottom and increase to the top.
Absolutely. Now, if people want to go to a website to find out more information about where you stand on the issues?
It's votefornakia.com. That's VOTEFOR, N as in Nancy, AKIA.com. And I also have a Facebook page and a Twitter page.
Very good. Well, thanks for being with us today, Nakia.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for stopping by.
All right, we appreciate all of our listeners out there in Las Vegas listening to us, as well as from around the country on our Vegas All-Net Radio repeat of the show. You have heard today Nakia Woodson, along with me, Big Magic Al Jensen, legal briefs specialist Miller, and Bill Klingon from WTC Insurance Services. If you missed any of our show today, check us out on Vegas All-Net Radio tonight at 10 o'clock. We will have a complete replay. And don't go anywhere, because coming up next right here on KLAV AM 1230, we have Pulse on Politics with Christine DeCourt. And the Sex and Money Show all next week, noon to 1, right here. Come back and see us again. Say goodbye, everybody.
Drive safely.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.